Hi everyone, my name is Travis. Today I want to talk to you about the Jacob's Ladder Stairway GTL and why I picked it. I noticed out on the internet, just kind of doing my own research, that there really wasn't a whole lot of peer reviews on how people thought about the Stairway. I had noticed that the company itself had actually put out quite a bit of content for dealers, but there wasn't really anybody doing real reviews on the pros and the cons and what they liked and disliked of this machine overall. So today I kind of want to go into a little more detail about this machine in particular and how I think it rates over other machines that you're going to spend twice as much on. So a little bit about myself. In my free time, I like to compete in stair races. So if anybody's ever done that, they know that those are fun and also torturous. They're essentially, you start at the bottom of a skyscraper and you go to the top of it as fast as possible. So I've been doing that for 7, maybe 8 years now, and always going to the downtown area of the city I live in and doing tall buildings there. But when COVID hit, that kind of took that away and I wasn't really able to do much in the way of stairs. So I was kind of supplementing everything with my treadmill here, which can do a 40% incline, but as everyone knows, high incline is just not as difficult as stairs. So I started kind of scratching my brain, figuring out what I could do to maintain doing stairs like I enjoy doing. And as I started to research stair mills that were out there, I noticed that they were very spendy. And you get a little bit of sticker shock when you are actually considering buying one of these machines, simply because they are so outrageous in their price. So I stumbled across the Jacob's Ladder Stairway, which is the plain stairway looks just like this, but if anyone's ever used the Jacob's Ladder before, they know it has the waist belt that you wear, and the higher you climb, the faster it goes. So I was prepared to go that route, and then I realized they had this GTL. So the difference with this one and the other one is this one has a generator that helps keep everything going and you don't have to wear the waist belt. My little gym that I have here at my house, it's for my family, but also my closest friends come and use it. And I didn't want to have to teach people how to use the waist belt. So that's why the GTL ultimately was a little better pick for me. But as I started looking into the different brands of stair mills that were out there, I noticed that they all come with a fair amount of maintenance that has to be done to them. So not only are you spending over $10,000 for the ones that you would really want, but there's also a significant amount of maintenance that can come with that. The GTL comes in at half of those costs, and because of the manufacturer videos that were out there, they were showing what the machine looks like without its skin on it. And so you're able to see that the machine is actually very simple in its function. And the more I watched it, the more I started to think that this was the machine for me, because not only is it half the cost, it's to the point, it seems to give you a great workout, and it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot that can go wrong with it. So for me, that's a win. I'm not sure on the exact cost at the moment, but I got this in March of 2022 and we're in June now, so I've had a few months to try this out. I have it here at my house, but when I got mine, they were around $5,000. Jacob's Ladder so far has been great to work with. Mine arrived with a side panel damaged. It was actually cracked. It had shifted on the pallet. When I reached out to Jacob's Ladder, they didn't hesitate for a second to get a new side panel shipped to me, and they even worked with a local fitness equipment repair shop to come and replace that panel for me. So my experience with them so far has been really good. And that's who actually I bought my machine from. I didn't go through a third party, I went right through them, and their communication throughout the whole process was excellent. So I have no complaints on Jacob's Ladder whatsoever. Okay, now we're gonna go kind of take a little walk around tour of the machine, and then I'm going to step up on it and explain how this machine actually works Never mind my weights that are sticking out the bottom down there, those are not needed. I have a robot vacuum that likes to go underneath there and get stuck. So that is just to keep it from getting wedged underneath the machine. So as you can see, it has Stairway GTL on both sides. You have big handrails on each side of you. And then as far as the stairs go, you have 3 complete steps, which is something that I noticed that some of the at-home stair mills, they only had 2, and the degree angle that they were at was pretty shallow. So what caught my eye with the GTL was it actually had 3 steps and also a steep gradient, so it's a little bit more like a real building. And then this is the panel that was broken upon arrival that Jacob's Ladder promptly got fixed within the first week of having. The other thing you're going to notice with the stairs on this versus the machines you might use at a health facility is that they're not kind of jigsawed together like puzzle pieces, and there's also no backing to them. Some may like that, some don't. I personally like it because then I can kind of step how I want to step. I like to skip stairs when I'm on here quite a bit, and now I don't have to worry about thumping my toes off of the back. The other thing I really like is that these are real stairs. There's actually a hardened like plastic piece up underneath here, so it's not something that has to puzzle itself together. These stairs just rotate, go around the back out of sight, and then they come back and they remain a solid stair the whole time. So as far as when you step down, there's no spongy feeling, no sensation that you're going to break the machine, like none of that. This thing is rock solid. The other thing that you may notice on the Jacob's Ladder is the initial step up height is much lower. Now I'm not versed on the specs of that, but if you've ever used a Stairmaster or a Life Fitness or any of the other brands out there, you'll notice that first step can kind of be a doozy. That is not the case on the GTL. This is a very friendly, low first step, which I like because in my building, when I have the garage door open that sits directly behind this, I can be on the 3rd step at the top and not hit my head on the garage door. So extra bonus for no head injuries. The top of the stair mill, you can see they kind of give you quick little instructions on how to get it going. That's how simple this is to use. There are 4 instructions. That's it. And then they give you some reference points. So if you want to spend a little time on here, this is, you can kind of gauge where you're at in terms of how much you've accomplished. Since the machine itself doesn't count floors, it only counts stairs. So I'm going to go up onto it here. Okay, so here is the console. If you are somebody that likes pre-programmed workouts on your machines, this will not be the machine for you. This is no frills, to the point, and that's exactly what I wanted. If you want to use a heart rate monitor, I believe it talks to the Polar brand ones, which I do not have, but it will count your calories. But as you can see from the console, it has speed up, speed down, stop, start, reset. The reset button, I don't use that much because I believe once you step off the machine, it resets in like 30 seconds or something like that. So it's not a button you're going to use all that frequently, but upon startup, you'll kind of see the screen. It's going to welcome you to the machine of death, as some of my friends call it. From there, you're going to push start. It's going to tell you not to hang on to the handrails because it's going to weigh you. Now, it's not going to actually post your weight, but it's going to weigh you so that way it knows, I believe, it knows how much brake to release and generator to assist you with. But don't quote me on that. That is me just assuming. But from there, it starts you at a nice, easy pace, and you can start to speed up, and you can see the speed. It's in a percentage of the machine's max capability. So here I'm walking with you guys at 30%, and I'm walking at 46 steps per minute. that is essentially all that's to this machine. If you bring the speeds up nice and even, the machine will come up with you in speed nice and even. If you go from 0 to 100%, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit the stop button, so you can kind of see how that looks. But anyway, if you, sorry about my focus, if you go from 0 to 100, the machine likes to surge and go really, really fast, and then it will slow back down on you. So, pardon me. So that takes a little bit of getting used to. I've kind of found that if I just come up nice and smooth, then it seems to kind of do what I want it to do. Okay, now I'm going to walk on the machine, kind of show you how this one works. So if you've ever been to a gym and you've seen people on traditional stair mills, you tend to see a lot of this, and people will just simply have the stairs moving and then they kind of just walk. You're not really getting a good workout. Jacob's Ladder's Stairway GTL doesn't really allow that to happen because it's weighing you before it starts. It kind of takes the cheating element away, because once you start to put pressure on the handrails, it's going to register a different weight and it's going to slow down. So it forces you to actually have to stand up and support your own body weight. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that, kind of how the whole startup process goes. So I've hit start, it's woken up, it's telling me to hit start to begin, so I'm going to hit it again. You're going to see me go down, it's weighing me, and then once it finishes weighing me, it's going to tell me to just go ahead and start walking, use the handrails if I need it. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up, about, let's do 40% right here. So now I'm at 40, move up to 50. Okay, so here's 60%. So you can kind of hear it ramping up. We're going 95 instead of sprinting, but I'm slowly coming down, 92, 90, 88, 87. So now we're kind of hanging out in that upper 80s. So it will do that as long as I want to. If I start to get tired and I take my hands and I put it on here and I press it all, you're going to hear the machine slow down. If I press too much, it'll just stop. But as soon as I let off, it will start going again. So, me personally, I like that feature. There's no cheating. So far, what I have discovered on this versus running skyscrapers is this is as hard, if not harder, than doing the real thing. So if you want that, this is your machine. Okay, now that we have kind of had a little tour of the machine, you kind of got to see how it works. Now let's talk about the pros and the cons. The pros of this machine vastly outweigh the cons. I wouldn't hesitate a moment to recommend this to anybody that's in the market for a stair mill, to whether it be the home user or somebody with a gym. This is a great machine. Pros of it overall, the cost. You cannot beat the cost of this. In my research, there were no stair machines lower cost than what Jacob's Ladder was selling this for. So you're going to get a sticker shock either way. When you're talking $5,000 for any piece of equipment, you're going to have a little bit of sticker shock, but you're not paying $10,000, you're not paying $12,000, you're not even paying $8,000 that some of them are. So cost is big. Jacob's Ladder's customer service is top notch. They're a smaller company. When you email them or call them, somebody always gets back to you. When you call them, you're actually getting actual people right away. It's not some call center. You're getting the salespeople, or you're getting the customer service, mechanical type people. Like, I enjoy that. I like being able to pick the phone up and actually talk to somebody. Another pro is the overall simplicity of the machine. I kind of discussed that when you see the machine without the skin on it, it's a very simple machine. You can see that the design is overbuilt. Like, the frame of this thing is way overbuilt. The belts, the pulleys, everything is overbuilt, and there just isn't a whole lot of moving parts. So long term, there just isn't a whole lot that's going to go wrong with it. And if something does go wrong, it's probably going to be a pretty simple thing to actually take care of. the mobility of the machine. So you can see, maybe you can't, I'm not sure. My machine is actually plugged in at the moment. So that's plugged in to keep the battery going. So the battery is kind of used to assist the electrical system that's in it. But if you're like me, occasionally when my friends come over, we rearrange the gym and make different forms of workouts. I can unplug this, and it has 2 caster wheels under the front, and we can move it. Some days I put the garage doors up, and we take the fan bikes and the rowers and the stairmill, we take them outside. And so I kind of like that. I like that I'm not actually tethered to an electrical source if I don't want to be. So some of the cons of this machine that I've ran into, the most recent con, and it really wasn't a big deal, it was just more of an inconvenience, is the battery that's in here. It's a small, just sealed battery, kind of like you'd see on a lawnmower or something like that. It starts to die over time. My machine had not been plugged in, and when the battery indicator up top went from green to kind of like an amber color, I plugged my machine in, let it stay plugged in for a couple of days. Well, it didn't charge the battery, and the machine ultimately it died. So I took the body panels off, which is actually really easy to do, and the battery is just right inside here. And I just hooked it up to a little battery tender, and within 20 minutes it was all the way charged back up. So that's an inconvenience, because I know there's some people that they're not going to want to have to take the machine apart and charge it. I don't know if Jacob's Ladder has addressed this, but what I've noticed is the charger that it came with is a 9-volt charger, and the battery is a 12-volt. So I don't know if that plays a role in it, but I would think you'd want a 12-volt plug-in to go with a 12-volt battery in order for it to keep up with the workload and actually charging that battery back up. So in my opinion, that's probably the issue, which again, seems like a pretty simple fix. And outside of that, my only other con is I like to run stairs. That's part of the sport I like to compete in. Running on the Jacob's Ladder is not really something you can do. If you manage to get it up to 100%, it will surge up to around 165 steps per minute, but it won't hold that, because as you're running, your body weight input is changing. Your steps are a different weight than they were when it weighed you, so it won't maintain that speed, and it always wants to slow down on me, so I can't really get running on it. So that's a little bit of a frustration that I wish Jacob's Ladder would kind of tweak the computer that's in there, maybe make it less sensitive or make it delayed. I don't know. I feel like there's something they could do to where if you're at the upper echelon of its speed, it can delay this thing registering your weight different, just because when you do run, your weight is different. So that's a little bit of a frustration, but ultimately, I love this machine. This particular one, between myself and my friends using it, it probably sees somebody on it 5 of the 7 days a week, anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours at a time, just depends on the day. So anybody who is looking for an at-home stair mill, or if you have a gym and you've been researching stair mills for a while, don't hesitate for a second to give the Jacob's Ladder Stairway GTL a try. You will not be disappointed. It's just a machine that you have to figure it out, and once you figure it out, you're good to go. So anyway, thanks for your time today, and take care.